History is written in the blood of men and women that dared to reach for feats of absolute bravery and endurance. Feats like the building of the pyramids, Sir Shackleton crossing the Antarctic on foot, the moon landing, the Battle of Stalingrad, the guy who invented pizza. But arguably all that might pale in comparison to what we just did, ladies and gentlemen. Because in 4 years, across the most stressful era of my law degree, across a global health crisis, global inflation crisis, all the way into me getting a job, an incredible amount of untold personal tragedy which I shall not even attempt to torture your ears with, I wrote and finished 359,534 words of my novel across 3.5 years. That is equivalent to one Hunger Games book back to back every year for 4 years. That is approximately 1.5 of the entire New Testament every year for 3 years. This tested my patience, my endurance, completely rewrote my entire lifestyle. I kid you not, I have been waking up at 4:30 a.m. for 3 consecutive years straight just to find time to write. I've stayed on hours past work, late into the night, getting home at midnight to get in a couple thousand words. Truthfully, some of those days and nights, I failed, but I kept on going. I've read a dozen books, courses on writing, hundreds of hours of craft videos, poured the might of all that knowledge and skill behind hundreds of hours of work. And finally, my people, I finished the first draft. I feel so good to say. So good to say. There were days I thought it would never happen, truly. You want to know when my darkest moment was? I remember I was doing an internship at this place and I would get there super early before the receptionist that had the key to the door even showed up. My laptop battery was fried, dead. It was basically a desktop, right? I couldn't get it to write before work started. So I had to take out my savings, get a Bluetooth laptop to connect to my tablet, right? To write outside the door. But the only place that I could find in the whole building to write for the place opened was the rooftop. Okay, it was like a tall building, like an office complex. At 6:30 in the morning, right, the wind would rip in right from the coast, and it was biting cold. So imagine me, a concrete slab, tablet and keyboard propped on my lap, freezing cold, just trying to squeeze some words out. Yeah, half the time, I'm going to be honest, I didn't even know what I was typing. I was going one word in front of the other. I didn't even know if it made sense, if I was constructing proper sentences. I was just typing the next word and the next word that popped into my head, right? And this tablet was geriatric. It would freeze up if you so much as swiped with your thumb too hard, and my screen froze and crashed a lot. It was literal hell to work with, right? So was my laptop with no battery. Even after the office would open and I got it, the building AC got broken and it would get boiling hot. I kid you not, you couldn't even think sometimes, like so much as right. That part was dark, you know. In those moments, honestly, if present me and back in time and told me, oh, you would stick with that idea and you would finish the draft, I would have told me that I was lying. Okay. The thing with writing and art generally is that in the early stages you are making something that no one is really anticipating, right? If you stopped doing it right this instant, the world would still spin on, right? No markets would crash, no nations would crumble. No one really cares, not really. That is hard on your consciousness. It takes a certain humility to accept that and still do it regardless. And that humbling of the ego builds character. And I will always be grateful for that. But we did it. And I'd like to share some lessons. One, the obstacle is the way. This is the title of a great book by Ryan Holiday, and it basically says that whatever impediment is in your way, that is your instruction from the universe of the exact step you need to take next. I couldn't use my laptop, I used my tablet. When I couldn't use my tablet, I used a notes app on my phone to write lines or an outline. When I couldn't write on the bus rides home, I would think about the book. Imagine the scenes playing out, like a sort of mental outlining, right? And I couldn't think about the book, I would read something, right? If you can't write 1,000 words, maybe write 500. If you can't write 500, maybe write 200. If you can't write at all, maybe listen to writing content, right? See every barrier as funneling you into your next step, right? Narrowing your options means you have the freedom to act with conviction on the few options you do have left, right? Picture it like water or marbles flowing through a maze, right? I am literally recording this video right now in my cupboard because my mic is horrible and my audio is trash if I record anywhere else, right? That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. 2, your outline will change. The story will change as you write it and you learn more. Be okay with that, right? The more you write, the more you read, the more you learn about story structure, the better you will get. And that will change your initial plan. Just listen to your intuition, right? You consume thousands of hours of movies, books, shows. Your mind has a keen sense of what makes a good story. So trust it and bend with the flow. It is something I learned from Hormozi. He has a lot of good ideas. You should follow him. That the amount of time you've been doing something for is the amount of time you actively spend on the thing, right? So the value of time spent on a task isn't just about the hours invested, but the active focus time spent on the essential elements, right? And in doing it, you can effectively compress time and achieve in a few hours what takes someone else longer. For example, if I spend 30 minutes a day learning how to code over 5 years versus someone spending 5 hours a day learning how to code over 2 years, in 2 years that person would have improved quadruple the amount that I used 5 years for, right? That is a 4x increase. So you can really compress time by learning more and doing more faster. You get better faster. Sanderson talked about this when he spoke of how he wrote 13 novels before he got published, right? The faster you scale up the time put in, the better you tend to get quicker. And frankly, writing, publishing is already a tough business as it is. So why prolong and delay your progress cycle, right? Lock in now. Like the sooner the better. The sooner you can get the bad words out of you, right, and scale up and achieve escape velocity, right, the better, right? Life is short, as they say. I can honestly attest that my writing quality from 2020 to 2023 is almost night and day, and that's because I crammed every bit of knowledge I could lay hands on until I developed a solid internal framework of what good prose looks like, line by line. In fact, I think this year I've written double my word count of the previous years, right? And the last one is read a lot. You can only cook with what you have in the kitchen. Yes, you can pick up a lot from movies and TV, With reading, you're actually seeing line by line what tricks others are using to achieve mental effects on your brain, what clever turns of phrase they use, what neat expressions they deploy. You can't get that from movies and TV. You have to read, right? Read stuff like what you're writing. Read stuff unlike what you're writing. Just read. Your brain will internalize all that subconsciously, and trust me, you will see your prose actively getting better. So that's it. I hope you join me for my revision journey, my publishing journey. If you're inspired or moved by any of this, if you want to know what my book's about, I put up a video about it recently. You can check that out. And that's it. Cheers to us. Bye-bye.